All right, so today's stream. One of the things I like to play when I'm playing cards on stream for you guys is I often take what I call viewer submitted decks. So these are deck lists that people send me to play as is, or with some small modifications, or even sometimes they just submit to me deck concepts that they'd like to see me build around and create and stream for you all. And today, it just so happens we have 4 viewer submitted decks that we're playing. So we're playing all viewer submitted decks all day today. And it also just so happens that all of these decks are air focused. So you guys are feeling like taking to the skies this week or something, because you all sent me in air focused decks to play. So that's what we're going to do. And speaking of air focused, today is a little special. We're going to do an extra long stream after playing and finishing up with cards. We're going to move on to a new game, new digital card game, I should say, that just launched yesterday, Wingspan. This is, for those not familiar, Wingspan was an award-winning board game that came out in early 2019. It's a game I've enjoyed quite a bit. During the times when we could get together with people and play those kind of things. And they've just launched a gorgeous digital edition that we're going to try out on stream today. So, air focused stream today. First, we're playing 4 viewer submitted air decks and cards, and then we're taking to the skies in Wingspan and going to try to create the most viable bird habitat that we can. So, stick around for all that if you're interested in learning and seeing what that game's all about. I think most of you card gamers here who are here for my cards content might enjoy something like Wingspan. It very much like not unlike a competitive TCG. There's a lot of cool card combos and combinations and powers to take advantage of and such. So anyway, with enough of that preamble, and let's jump into the first deck of the day then. So this is a UK-US Bombers deck. This was submitted by user Kowalski, who really wanted to see me play with British Bombers paired with the P-38 Lightning. So kind of a neat US card to pair with bombers, because as we know, the British have some of the best bombers in the game, and this makes them even better, giving them +2 attack. And what's nice about this, because it is a fighter, it does protect our bombers versus enemy bombers too, incidentally, so that's kind of nice. This deck is pretty much as is. The user submitted to me. They were just missing a Monty from their collection, so I tossed one of the one-ofs that they had in this list that I didn't think quite fit and put that in. And that's pretty much it. So we're just going to jump into some games and see how we do. Hello, Kowalski. We're just about to play your deck. I think it's safe to say that this is more of a mid-range focused air list. We're definitely trying to kind of control the board early with maybe cheap bombers against some of their faster, aggressive units. Keep our HQ safe with our guard units until we can get to the point where we're powering up our early bombers into really big threats. Try to take out their bigger threats if they're playing a mid-range deck, or just hit face and try to race them, close the game out if we're in a position to do so. Why am I using Dragon in the background? Because I forgot to transition to the full screen, that's why. Thank you for pointing that out. I meant to do that right as I started talking, and then I completely forgot about it because I guess I got excited about being an air-focused stream today or something. I think that dragon flies, so it was kind of on theme. I don't know that we keep 2 payoffs in our hand when we still need to find the actual bombers to make this work. Like, it's a fine 4-drop on its own, but it's not going to really shine unless we have at least one other bomber on the field. I like Monty, I like draw, so I think we'll throw just the one back and keep the rest. Now you must forgive me if I turn the mic off and go quiet every once in a while. I am eating breakfast while I'm also streaming. But I'm going to try my best to mute the microphone while I'm doing that. I suppose I deserve that. Speaking of careless talk. That's kind of annoying, but I think we got to play our draw two now while we still have the hand space. That's a really nice pickup with the Empire Strikes. Oh, you know what? One other change I think I was supposed to make to this deck was I think I was supposed to add the 04. The 04 infantry. Because I think this deck has enough orders in it that it's worth playing that. Yeah, I think I'm going to make that change after this game. I think we can cut maybe a week into it. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a closer look. I think that was my idea. Because Kowalski told me if there was anything I should be cutting, it might be the 4-5. That would be one of the cards, potentially. I think we just need to pressure them here. For the most part, resistance decks, their game plan is to choke you out on resources and beat you with their leftovers. And they're not really good at racing in the meantime, so we're just going to try our best to do that. Unfortunately, it had exactly enough resistance cards in hand to do that to us. Just sad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we lose. No, we don't lose a thing. I'm doing it this way, that way one attack from this doesn't kill a bomber of ours. Maybe I'm supposed to save this for turn 7 when I can use Empire Strikes, but that doesn't quite kill the tank. Okay, that's fine by me. Now I might Empire Strikes, or am I supposed to find another cheap bomber? See what this finds. Lancaster probably going to be pretty good for this game. KITTYHAWK is also a good pick, but I think we'd rather have the higher power. I don't want to power this up necessarily for one attack if it means it's just going to die the next turn. To a Flam Panzer, but I feel like if he had Flam Panzer, he might have already played it. It's tough to say. I think we want to get that in range of our precision bombing. I left him the 3 attacker because it's more expensive for him to move up and operate. So it's going to take him more of his turn if he wants to use this to eat one of our things. And obviously I should have put this 2-2 beside the guard. In fact, I could have guarded both of these because our life total doesn't matter, right? So that was a mistake. It looks like it's not mattering because our opponent's not ignoring our bombers here for the time being. Alright, they have a Leopold in hand, because that's the way this game works. They always have the Leo. Hey, congrats, Rodri. It's not easy, so that's a big achievement for sure. I'm just bored and annoyed of this strategy, so we're gonna move on. Don't play games if you're not having fun. It's the best advice I can give. Yeah, we had an insane curve that game, and um, we're particularly good against aggressive decks. So, oh, I keep forgetting to change one of the cards in the deck to the 04. Maybe we just forget about it for that. No, I think I do want to put it in though. I think this is the card that should go, because I think we have decent amount of healing anyway with the honeys, but maybe I'm supposed to keep this. I think I gotta look for something else. How do you know I'm muted and I wasn't just not talking? Yeah, I'm eating breakfast on stream, so I'm gonna mute so you don't have to listen to my crunching noises. How do we want to do this? I could kill him with Empire Strikes. And then at some point, we're going to fight through all of the cards in his hand, and then he's going to drop an Empire of the Sun on our big bomber. And then we shall cry. Well, that's particularly annoying. These are already pretty weak anyway, I guess. Man, that's really annoying. Rarely do you see people running that card, too. I'm actually going to pass and see if he plays more stuff out. So I can get more value off of this Empire Strikes. Double Empire Strikes is interesting. I think we saved the second one, though. Maybe it's wrong. That's cute. I think we just pass here. P38 plus Finest Hour kills one of these. Yeah, I think we just pass for now. There's a patrol, which is kind of nice. Probably going to use one on there. We're not drawing enough bombers. That's for sure. 1, 2, 4, 8, 12. That's 12. 2, 2, 2, 2. This kills one and this kills the other. Well, we probably can't beat their hand of 9 cards. So, I think this game's over. We did our best, but this deck's gonna have a tough time against control decks like this. Opponents has an interesting build. That's a thing, I guess. We're just gonna get infinitely pinned by that, this thing. How much HP did he gain from his honeys this game? Yeah, plenty. So we actually did enough damage to kill him. But that darn honey. Continuing to forget to change the O4 infantry. Write myself a reminder. Well, that's a heck of a start from our opponent. What's better, playing the guard unit or hitting this with patrol? I think I want to play the guard unit. He could hammer, I guess, but So maybe that's the reason not to. Yeah, I guess if he hammers, then he can still attack with this. No, patrol I don't care about, though. These are all bad, so let's go for the one that draws us cards eventually. Now I'm sure he's about to play a Katyusha and he's going to get the 50-50 on the activation. Interesting. Well, our Empire Strikes cleans that up, so I'm not really concerned with that. I'm going to play this to bait out a hammer. The more hammers we can get out of his hand, the better this comet becomes. That looks like a good patrol target. I guess we knew he had this in hand, right? Man. Punished for not just immediately using my Empire Strikes, I guess. Maybe I should hit this? Nah, I don't think so. Good morning, Charlin. Welcome, welcome. There's the hammer. Ooh. That's going to be really nice the following turn, but I think I'm supposed to do this first into this while we have the chance. This is 6-12, then I can play this thing. Maybe I'm just supposed to attack with the bombers here, but he's got so much life, I'd rather get like card advantage on the board if I can try. Well, that's really irritating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turns out Corsair's pretty good against bomber decks. And he drew both of them. It's possible that against that second Corsair, I was just supposed to use shelling to get it in range of one of our swordfish, and then even if it hit one of our big fighters, we would have been left with the other bomber. But then he had a B-17 anyway in hand, so good chance we lose that. And our board state looks exactly the same as it did that other turn, and then we're just down a shelling, so I don't know. Do I keep Blackwatch against the likely ramp deck? Probably not. I'm not really sure what the Blackwatch is for in this deck. Is it meant to slow down like resistance, maybe? I feel like Blackwatch is in kind of a bad spot right now. Unless you're ramping into it, I don't think it's that effective of a card. Which is fine because its ability is kind of obnoxious anyway. So I'm kind of glad they nerfed it. That's interesting. Should I hit that? Probably, because then next turn he can Greyhound us. Maybe he's playing some sort of US British artillery deck, which is kind of interesting. Yep, so we would have died to that thing. Ooh. That was a nice top deck, for sure. Do I use an Empire Strikes on this board? I'm not sure that's necessary. Could buff this thing and start hitting his HQ. Doesn't seem that great either. I think it's the opportunity to draw some cards, actually. Yes, I do. Olinder. In fact, today we're playing entirely user-suggested decks, or viewer-submitted decks, as I like to call them. So if you want to send me a private message and you have a deck idea that you would like me to build, or you have a deck list that you want me to play as is, or anything in between, you can send it to me and I'll play it the next time. The next time we stream. Well, our bombers are more important, so let's do this. And he just drew a bunch of cards, so let's... This is when Blackwatch stands to be at its best. So let's go for that. Okay, well that was a top deck. He seems to be mostly artillery deck, so we're just going to move this up and continue to apply pressure. I think getting this down is better than 2 points of damage here. Probably has Seaborn Invasion in his deck, so we could see that here right now. Yep. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. We want space for our bombers after all. This might be wrong because he could be running yeah, Avenger. Okay. It's only +2 attack. 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can't kill both of those things. So maybe I'm supposed to do this first. And like our aim is to P30 lightning the following turn. P38 lightning the following turn. He could carpet bomb us here. US Britain combination has access to a lot of sweepers. or things that effectively act like them. Okay. I guess we'll patrol this. Empire strikes. P-38 hit their HQ. Do we have enough resources for that? That's 4, 8, 10, 11, 12. We can't attack. We cannot attack with both units, unfortunately. I think that's the play. Could just draw cards, I guess. Yeah, there's the carpet bombing. I think I'm just gonna play this out. It's a fine enough attacker. His HQ is low enough that we could possibly pressure him out of the game at this point. Especially with these left in hand to like deal with any pesky units that he might throw in our way. Perfect hit. Play this out because it makes his B-17 or Death from Above worse. He's already played 2 Death from Aboves. We haven't seen any B-17s yet. This is his second Avenger, I believe. Yeah. So he doesn't have any more Avengers. Okay, well, does he have air defense is the question. We're gonna play like he has air defense. Okay, well he didn't hold up the resources for air defense, so even if he had it there, we could have just thrown one of our fighters into his guard unit to trigger it, and then the bomber could finish him off. Yeah, good win. P-38 Lightning, really good if you have bombers on the field. Obviously, it's just hard to get into that position sometimes, it feels. But it definitely has always felt like a really powerful archetype. It just it's rare to see it actually go off and do its thing. I pretty much like all of this. I think I even keep the swordfish in hand just as a cheap way to activate or power up certain cards, like, well, our Empire Strikes mainly. It can, but mostly I try not to rely on that. I just think about what they could have based on the amount of resources that they leave up. Okay, I don't know why that card deployed here when I like moved it here, but it is what it is. We'll live with it, I suppose. Do I play a swordfish? I don't think it really does much. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. That it seems like sometimes the card gets activated with no indication. I kind of want to play out the 2 bombers with a aim to use P-38 Lightning next turn, but he's almost certainly going to sweep the board, right? So maybe we just do this, because if he has Carpet Bombing in hand, it can at least delay it a couple turns. Probably doesn't matter. There's an Empire Strikes, like we were talking about. Let's see if he kept up thingy. Nope. Yeah, it was okay. The problem is he's got tons of cards in hand. most of which have really powerful effects. So, guy's got a cheeky patent in his ramp deck. I like it. Perfect hit on that B-17 means we probably lost this game. Yep. I could move this up to create more space in my thingy, and he probably has a Woken Giant to cantrip. Well, at least we kept that out of the front line. That's something. Yeah, alright. Alright, you got it, opponent. Alright, I think we're gonna call it with this deck. We've been playing it for about an hour. So we can move on to the next. Yeah, it just suffers kind of from that kind of mid-range problem that a lot of decks do in this format right now. It's not quite going big enough to get under what a lot of the ramp decks are doing. And, well, I guess I should say it is doing its job against ag. We had good runs against aggro, right? Like, we were able to control the board just enough. And turn the corner. I think the only thing I would say about it is that I'm not sure Blackwatch is really very good in this format right now. Like, most of the control decks that it would be good against, in theory, have some amount of ramp in them, or they're just like clogging up the board with guard units that provide some sort of card advantage. In the case of the Japanese control decks, that just like doesn't matter most of the time. I think I'd rather cut these and put in more Blackburns, perhaps. Just more payoffs for getting the P-38 Lightning in play, and more things to enable the Empire Strikes. It's also possible that the deck needs some number of close air support. If we're mostly a British air deck anyway, we probably should be running some number of these, so that we can get aggressive and have a better chance of getting under what the bigger decks are doing. And or otherwise just be able to more effectively close games out before our aggressive opponents find the necessary burn that they need to finish us off. It's more for trying to get under the bigger decks that are in the format, which is why you mostly see aggressively slanted air decks, I feel, and rather these more mid-rangey builds. Because the problem with these more mid-range kind of things is, like, this P-38 is not very good on its own, and the bombers aren't very good on their own, and it's very expensive and hard to set up a board state where they're all working in tandem and being really effective, and then not have them just get swept immediately. So that's kind of the problem with, like, synergy decks against all of these sweepers. But it is a fun card to play with, and it's a fun deck for sure. So I think it could just use a little more tweaks, and it could be something. It could get it in a maybe a bit more reasonable spot. It's probably just a little bit more bombers. And yeah, I don't know if there's many more changes you could make to it. I definitely would cut these Blackwatch for maybe some more Blackburns, and then I don't know, maybe try to fit a couple of these in somewhere, but it might not be possible. It could honestly be possible, since we're a U.S. ally anyway, that we need to be playing B-17s of our own. That could be another consideration. Maybe instead of the RAAFs. These are very good cards, but very rarely is the effect gonna matter. Because it's not that great against, because like unless we have pressure, tempoing our opponent with this card doesn't do much. And there's so much like enter the battlefield effects that this is really bad against. Yeah, exactly. Big units, like once you start getting up to like 4K plus, if the unit's not having an impact on board the turn it comes into play, it's not going to be very good. And this thing could, in theory, have an impact when it comes into play if you have like two or more bombers in play, but then you need the credits to be able to activate those bombers at the same time. So it's like, it's just a very clunky card. Like, this is kind of a deceptive card, right? It's not really a 4-drop. Dropping this on 4 most of the time doesn't do anything other than play a 3/5 fighter, which is fine, but you need more stuff. Anyway, which is a shame, because I think this card's great, and I think this archetype's very fun. It's just not very competitive. But, still, it was a fun deck to play. So, we'll end it there.